These pilings tell a unique story of a bygone time. It was a time of hard labor, where young men made a living from logging the land. The Netul landing was once the site of the wet sort yard, also known as the Lewis and Clark boom. This site was the largest of 7 other sorting yards in Clatsop County. Starting in the 1850s, logging became an important part of the local economy. After World War II, the logging industry was booming.
In the old days, everybody was logging.
Ray Johansen worked the wet sort yard in its heyday.
And come back out of the service, I went to work right here.
The early logging process began in the woods, where trees were cut down and transported to the river in trucks or trains. When the loads arrived at the yard, the logs were then unloaded by a crane called an A-frame unloader and dropped into the river. Once they were in the water, the logs were sorted and tied into bundles by height and type of tree. Then, one-man boats called log broncs pushed the bundles of logs to boomsticks. Boomsticks, or sorting pockets, were used to corral the bundled logs between rows of piling to make a raft. 13 logs chained end to end made up each side of the boomstick. A completed raft was 50 feet across and 820 feet long, about the size of 3 football fields. The rafts were then towed to plywood and pulp mills along the Columbia River to the ports of Astoria, Longview, and Portland. The logs were then shipped all over the world.
When I started here, everything was done by hand. It was kind of a tough job in them days, you know. All we had was a 16-foot pipe pole with a hook and a point on it. And we all pushed the logs by hand. And we had one tugboat, or not, you wouldn't even call it a tugboat. It was so bad, it wasn't that good. But when we first, started, everything was done by hand, and all of a sudden it starts changing.
As time went by, logging technology began to change. The invention of better equipment improved worker safety and reduced the need for manual labor. By the 1980s, 75% of logging work was done by machines. The technology that created the boom also ended the boom. In 1996, this site was sold and the age of the wet sort yard ended. Logs were sorted in the woods and the trucks began transporting directly to the mills.
I don't think we'll ever run into anything like this again, I think that all the people that worked out here liked the job. I mean, it was outside, especially in good weather,
Today, the once busy wet sort yards are quiet, and the log broncs have been replaced by paddlers, but the memory of the loggers will always remain through the older generations and their stories.